The Shadow. Burford was found dead on the floor of the garret in which he lived. Death by strangulation was the verdict, and the finding was confirmed by the presence of a mark round his neck, as though a rope had pressed deep into his flesh. But no rope was found. The door and the window had been securely fastened from the inside. There was no chimney and no signs of any burglarious entry, so the police negatived the possibility of murder. Of Burford's old friends, only Carstairs continued to brood over the manner of thing that had brought so dreadful a death on the lovable genius of a poet. He remembered a trick Burford had lately got of passing his fingers round his neck as though to ease his collar, grumbling the while. A trivial action, which had passed unheeded at the time. Only Carstairs now saw in it a possible solution of the mystery, but a solution so horrible that he almost feared to put it to the test. However, he moved presently, to the undisguised surprise of his friends, into Burford's old garret, announcing his intention of spending the next few months in writing the biography of the dead poet, and asking that none should visit him after sunset. None had seen or heard of him for a month when the Colonel marched into the club one night in a tremendous state of excitement. "Look here, you fellows, I've just seen Carstairs. Never seen such a wreck in me life. Thin as a herring, white as a sheet, eyes blazing. Looks like a man who's seen a ghost, damn it." Martin, who was sitting alone as usual, heard him and looked up. Quietly putting away his book, he went out and made his way to the house where Carstairs was living. All was dark except the garret, which was brilliantly illuminated. Gazing at the window, he saw a shadow flit across the blind, and with a choking cry he leapt up the stairs to the door. It was locked. With a terrific kick, he smashed it down and burst into the room. There was a swish like a rope in the air, and a shadow, half concealing a vile, malignant face, swept across the room and melted into the shadows. Carstairs was cowering in a corner, covering his head with his hands. Martin picked him up and half dragged, half carried him to an easy chair and opened the window. Revived presently by the crisp night air, Carstairs recovered a little. He smiled vaguely at Martin and looked around the room. "Martin, old man," he whispered hoarsely, "you saved my life by coming in when you did. In another minute I'd have gone the same way as poor old Burford. Let's go now, shall we?" Martin had picked up a half-burnt sheet of paper, covered with Burford's fine hand. "The hangman, the finest thing I've ever done, burnt. Room is haunted by my own vile creation. God help—" Very white and shaking a little, he turned towards Carstairs. "Yes," he said, "let's go now. Poor, poor Burford."